Alrighty, hello there YouTube, and welcome back to Doing the Rounds on Older Builds with Bruce here. Today we're going to be doing, I'm going to be going over this build that I crafted here, which is a good old-fashioned Summon Skeleton Mage build. We're using Skelly Mages. We are a Guardian, as you can see here, more bones per bone, level 93. If you would like to take a look at the POB, I will have that down below in the description. Alongside that, with that, I will have some notes. I don't think there's going to be a ton of notes in there because it's a fairly standard minion build, but realistically I will have notes down in there. And I will say in the gearing section later, I'm going to go over a slightly different variation of this build, still with Guardian. And so I probably won't really have many notes in there for that particular variation that I'm going to talk about, but it will be at least mentioned in there, or maybe I'll just have like one or two notes. Anyway, that's just if you very quickly want to just look at it and go, if you're one of those kinds of players. But with that, I'll kind of just jump right into the main happenstance of it. So we're just going to go into a good old tropical island map here, and I have a Maven. I have a Maven map, or a Maven boss kill, and we might do both. We might do a bit of both. Do a bit of mapping, a bit of mavening, just to kind of show, you know, the full shebang on the character, right? But this is just the playstyle throughout maps. Is you're putting your bony boys down. They have you want to have volley on them while you're mapping, so that they are actually clearing pretty much everything. Wait a second, can these all be map bosses? These are all map boss ones. I'll be 1/10 of the way through my thing. That one's just minions. Lame. Okay, we'll see. That's 2 for map boss. I think we need 4 for that particular challenge. I'm a bit of a challenge grinder, so I'm always on the lookout for that. I'd say if anything, this build definitely has a lot of. You have quite a few buttons to press. Not that you necessarily have to. Like there are buttons that are in this build that I don't think are entirely necessary, but I run them regardless. Oh, there was a boss here. I run them like, for example, Flame Wall. I don't think Flame Wall is actually that big of a deal, but it is a bit more damage. Oh, there's 3 for Map Boss. Let's go. Oh, that gave Map Boss spell suppress as well. It's a bit of a bummer, but it's fine. I very recently, like right before recording this video actually, made a couple changes to this character as well to make him a bit tankier, because that was like the one thing that was causing me any kind of issues, was just not getting enough tankiness out of this character. And oh wait, I didn't actually open up the chest, did I? Nope. And that was a problem in any of the harder content. Oh, a ship. You know, do a nightmare map and would just like be able to kill everything fine, but I was the weak link. I would be the one that would fall over and die. Dang, too bad it was Kelger. I prefer for the tattoos. I'm not gonna run Cassia. I don't care enough about Cassia realistically. I've done everything for Cassia I need to this league, and I'm over it. Even doing ritual is something I don't normally do, but for the sake of it, I'm just running it anyway. It's a very simple but very effective. The reason why I like this build so much as well, by the way, is I'm someone who, when I'm doing a minion build, I prefer to have a very active kind of playstyle. I prefer an active build over a passive minion build. They're just too boring to me. Like if you're playing a build that is just essentially playing itself, you just kind of have minions that that just survive and do things on their own, and they just clear everything. I'm not a huge fan of it. Not to say that those builds are bad by any means. Those are just not. They just don't excite me. Those do not bring me joy. I was about to say, it's probably the boss somewhere. Where the hell is he? Whee! Oh, we didn't get a fourth. Damn it. We didn't get a fourth thing, too. That sucks. Alright, this boss is gonna be tankier just because he has guaranteed spell suppress and all that kind of stuff, but there he goes. Ah. Bismuth tornadoes, the bane of my existence. Cool. Alright, well there is... yeah, there's a map with them. I want to check really quick, just to see if that wasn't... It was 3, it wasn't 4. I just didn't get another one. This is so sad. Okay. And with that, let's go do a Maven. Let us do a Maven anyway, just for the sake of it, and then we'll go into actually doing gearing and all that jazz afterward. I need... Oh, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. The only thing that we do is we swap. You could just leave volley in. It actually really doesn't, like, volley doesn't decrease your Skelly Mage's damage by that much, but it's also totally fine to, of course, just have a swap. It's up to you if you want to swap or if you don't want to. I don't blame you either way. I personally am not a huge fan of even swapping like this, but also there are just times where that's just the case. Pain will be returned tenfold. Now the only thing that is sort of a bummer is that the skeletons... Oh, that's the stupid spider that makes you slower. The skeletons are kind of dumb with their targeting if there's more than one, where it's more than one target. I almost feel like a predator support would be kind of nice, just because then they will try to target whatever you're targeting, right? So in a way, that would be nice. In a way, that would be lovely, but it's also not... It's really not the end of the world when they do the good chunk of damage that they do. Oh, there were some random spiders around. I was like, what are they still attacking? The primary reason I'm playing this build as well again now is that they fixed the AI. Fixed, quote unquote. They changed it so that the skeletons wouldn't pause between every one of their attacks. I don't know if you've ever played this build previously, but the skeletons used to do this thing where they would attack, you know, whether it be the archers, the mages, whatever. They would attack, and then they would kind of stand around, or they would, like, waddle off somewhere. Oh, don't do it. You bitch. They would, like, either waddle off somewhere, or they would stand there for a second, and then start doing stuff. It was very annoying. Their AI did that, but they've recently, in the most recent patch, they changed that. So now we actually don't have to worry about the skeletons doing that kind of thing. We just sort of... Oh! Get them, boys. Yeah, we just flood them. We just flood Maven. Very smooth. Very smooth, very fun build. Alright. Put that back away. Good old Graven secret. And there we are. So that is the overall play style of the character. Like I said, you just kind of have a swap if you're about to do some kind of bossing like that. I think having a swap just to get rid of volley is kind of nice, but if you don't want to do that, you by no means have to. That's just kind of what I do. And then yeah, like I was saying, the AI is fixed on this, and alongside a couple other, or fixed. The AI is better now than what it used to be, alongside some other minions, and I would like to kind of make a build with those too. But with that, I think we'll kind of go into let's do the tree and Ascendancy first. I'll talk about gearing afterward because I have a bit more to say about gearing. But the tree is pretty simple. Pretty simple overall. Don't even worry about my thing. So we'll go Ascendancy first. Very usual for Guardian, especially since we're doing elemental stuff. We got Radiant Crusade. We have Unwavering Crusade as your first two. Those Sentinels are all great at great damage bonuses and really make a difference when it comes to clearing the campaign, especially. And then Radiant Faith here and Unwavering Faith, so that we can just really stack a bunch of auras on. And what's kind of nice about Guardian too is that because we actually have Unwavering Faith, we just have, and this gives us armor and energy shield and everything. But the nice thing is that because we actually get hatred, anger, and wrath from Unwavering Crusade over here, we actually get to run a lot of other. We get to run a lot of other auras that are more like comfort picks and are more just there for the sake of helping you feel other defenses. We'll go over that in the gem area, but determination, purity, and haste, those are all there now because we can run those alongside Unwavering Crusade, and it's a very cozy thing. But those are what we do. As you can see here, we have Bastion of Hope as well. I actually just got this. This is over here in these Forbidden Flesh and Flame areas. These things are really cheap. The Forbidden Flesh and Flame for Bastion of Hope, believe it or not, nobody really cares about this. So this was all of 35C total. But otherwise, relatively standard, coming out with the minion damage. If you wanted to get some more points out of it and you wanted to just come up here through the intelligence, that would be fine. I understand that. But I want the minion damage, because why not? So we're going through our minion damage wheel here, coming down early and taking some Grave Pact action, and then kind of going up. Whenever you're able to actually get your hands on, or if you're worried about like early game, if you're worried about minion survivability, because you just run around with you can just run around with whatever realistically. I would recommend leveling with maybe like Summon Raging Spirits, or you can. I think these guys you unlock the ability to use Skeleton of Mages at like level 10. It's up to you if you want to use them right away or not. They're fine early, but they aren't terrific, I will say. Like, it's really not until you unlock the ability to actually be summoning 12 of them, or like even like 8 to 10 of them, is when it really starts to pick up, or kind of like after you get Lord of the Dead and Death Attunement up here, so that you're getting more max skeletons there. So get Sacrifice and the Minion Defense Mastery for Leech whenever you feel like your minions kind of need some more survivability, some more tankiness. And then if you are going to run skeletons early, I would highly recommend coming up here for Enduring Bond and grabbing the increased effect of offerings, and then taking, like I said, Lord of the Dead, grab some Heart and Soul, and then go up here and take Death Attunement as well. That way you're getting as many skeletons as you can early on, and then come on down, grab Fearsome Force, grab your Sovereignty, grab your Purity of Flesh, grab your Redemption, and just kind of grab all those, and then make your way down, back down and around for some of the more tanky stuff like Sanctuary, Tireless, Nomadic Teachings. And as you start getting closer to being able to put on your cluster jewels, then make your way over to your cluster jewel areas. So these are our 12 passive clusters. You don't need to have a 12 passive cluster, realistically, of course. It's just kind of like it's a nice to have, it's not a necessary. But you could absolutely just run if you want to spend more points elsewhere, like if you want to spend some more points on like your survivability, or if you want to grab, like this jewel slot over here, or you want to grab this health wheel here, because realistically we only have, like 4,500-ish life, but if you want to grab, quick recovery here, or spend some more points in the Constitution wheel, you absolutely can, and maybe just take some points away from your large cluster jewel. But if you want just to really try to be squeezing in a good chunk of damage, then get yourself a 12 passive and just kind of build into those. This I actually completely forgot until I was like looking at this character before the video. This is blue. Don't mind that. I did plan to I kind of plan to fracturing orb this a little bit later, so I could just put whatever on this and it would be fine, but I just left it as it was because I was initially debating on if I was gonna use a Regal and an Exalt over on the ship, and I ultimately decided no, I'll just use it as is. But realistically, I should Regal Exalt that thing too. Anyway, obviously the most optimal here would be to have a 35% effect from a level 84 jewel with tier 1, so minions have 3% increased attack and cast speed, because that is a break point and it is a very big damage increase, and then just other good things like life or stats or resistances, whatever else you need is really what you're looking for here. This is where I have the Forbidden Flesh and Flame alongside just a Ghastly Eye Jewel here. And then down here, kind of the same thing. I just have this one. This is an eye level 83 because eye level 84 ones are very expensive, just as a heads up. And I did not have the money to buy 2 of them, so I just bought this one and just called it a day. And then over here, I'm using a Watcher's Eye. This is Determination plus armor while running Determination plus Chaos resistance while affected by Purity of Elements. Just wanted something to feel a bit tankier. Again, that's kind of been like the number one note for the character that I had as I was running this. Like, damage felt great, damage felt really strong, but survivability kind of was lacking here and there, so I had to try to squeeze in different ways of living wherever I could. So yeah, that is the tree. I don't really think I have too many other notes on it. Like I said, just grab whatever tankiness things you additionally either want or don't want. If you get more levels, you could do some more. Like if I were to hit 95, I would actually probably just take this jewel slot and put another Ghastly Eye Jewel in there. Yeah, I mean, I think that's mostly it. You can come over here and take this jewel slot. There is the Timeless Jewel setup if you want to do Timeless Jewels. I can't be bothered to do it, honestly. You'd want to put it here, I think. I think you'd want to put it here and then get some points. Get like some Slumlord, I believe is the name of that passive from, I forget the name of the Timeless Jewel. Anyway, you'd want to get Slumlord. You probably want to get it on like these two or maybe these two over here. Or maybe Devotion here as well. I don't know. I don't really want to do that Timeless Jewel setup, truthfully. It's such a big point investment that you have to do in order to utilize it. And it is good, but it's just such a big point justification, or like big point investment, and just something I'm not really that crazy about doing. Every now and again, sure, but I just wasn't feeling it for this particular character. So that is the tree. RIP that guy. And next up, we'll kind of spin into, we'll go weapons and gems at the same time because we might as well. So, Convoking 1, +1 level of all minion skill gems here. Pretty standard thing here. Realistically, if you are either rich or if you're able to, you can absolutely get this to be a +2, which would be even better. So you get a +1 all spells and then +1 minion skill gems as well. And you're set. But for now, I have this with minions deal increased damage, minion attack cast speed, which is, it's certainly not the best rolls on either of that, but it was good enough for me and it stuck. But you can absolutely get way more damage. You can squeeze way more damage out of this than I have. And then in here, just have Purity of Elements, Flame Dash, and Sniper Mark here, which should have 20 quality on it, but it does not yet. But that is what we got there. Shield wise, also is nothing spectacular here. The cheapest fracture you can get for a fossilized spirit shield is minions have increased critical strike chance. We are doing crit stuff, so you can get that. But if you even look for like a level fractured minion skill gem or a high tier minion deal increased damage fracture on a fossilized spirit shield, you run into like a lot. You run into a pretty pricey investment at that point. And so again, I basically just grabbed this for whatever price it was, and I just literally chaos spammed it until it hit minion skill gem and also hit a very low level of minions deal increased damage. But again, realistically, so this is another area where you could absolutely hit something a lot better than this, but it's fine for what it is. As long as it has the +1 level on it, that's kind of the most crucially important, hit +1 level. And then here we have Haste, Shield Charge, and Spirit Offering. And then helmet-wise, we are just running a very standard helmet. We just need some This is actually really cool, but I almost completely forgot about this crap. If you were to be very, very, very rich, I guess you could use what is it? A veiled? Is it veiled chaos or veiled exalt? You'd want, I don't know, one or the other. I guess you'd want like a fractured +2 level all minion skill gems, and then you'd want a veiled or you'd want an exalted orb, slam it like the veiled alts or veiled chaos, and you'd want to identify it with the plus, I believe it's +2 maximum number of skeletons on that prefix if you're able to hit it. But if not, in the meantime, just something like this will do completely fine. Get yourself a +2 level all minion skill gems, make sure it has some resistances, and then just craft the +1 to max number of skellies, and that's still just a very good damage increase for yourself. Implicit wise here, there isn't really anything crazy. You can also get yourself a higher armor base than this, and yeah, just try to find something that that fits the bill. But realistically, this actually wasn't that expensive. I was expecting this to be way more expensive, so this was like, I don't know, 100 to 180 C or something at the time. Not very crazy. Was totally fine. And then in here we have minion life with an animate guardian, which hopefully eventually will hit level 21. Oh, I guess we can talk over Animate Guardian's gear right now as well. Level 21 Raised Spectre and Feeding Frenzy, level 20 here. But Raised Spectre, also you do want this to be at level 21 because you want to make sure that you're hitting that level 25 mark right there. If you're able to hit level 25, then you can have 4 Spectres. The other thing, if you wanted to swap out Minion Life or something here for Empower, I wouldn't blame you. You could run that route as well if you wanted to. But again, as long as you're hitting that 25 mark, that's kind of all that matters. You don't really need the rest of it from there. And Feeding Frenzy is just a really good buff to be getting from these guys. Animate Guardian, because I love that you can do this now. As you can see, very cheap and not great gear, so we're just running Dying Breath. I have just a Varuso's Battering Ram in here because he's gating endurance charges from Ambu's Charge. And then we just have I just have a Calm's Roots and a Leer Cast in here. Realistically, if you're able to get your hands on it, Garb of the Ephemeral should go here, which denies enemies from being able to crit in general, which is great. And then weapon-wise, you'd be running a Kingmaker instead, which would then also be a huge damage increase. And then for gloves and boots, I actually still don't really know what people run. I know Southbound used to be something I would run here just because it's a lot of added cold damage. And boots used to be... boots were something else. I don't remember what else boots used to be, but I just decided, screw it, I'm giving him Calm's Roots, because why not? So, that is what our AG is rocking, but like I said, you can make him far stronger than what he is right now. Oh. Amulet-wise, I actually just anointed this as well, but the plus summon skeleton replica Dragonfang's Flight is very cheap and also just a very good increase. Of course, could you run something like a Ashes of the Stars? Yeah, of course you could. I don't think it's as good as this though, personally, but it would still be good overall. So up to you on what you want to run, but I like the +3 levels here, and also just the other added benefits that Replica Dragonfang is giving us is great. And then I just have Anointed as the Mountain for more block and all that jazz, because there really just isn't anything from like a minion damage perspective that you're going to be able to anoint on the tree. There just aren't a ton of minion damage nodes on the tree. Ring wise, we just have a couple bone rings here. Just get yourself some rings that fill resistances, stats, and then have minion increased damage, and also minion attack cast speed would be even more ideal. Like this ring over here is certainly more ideal than this one technically, but I believe I need that dexterity, so it is what it is. But craft on it till you're able to hit just some cast speed and damage. Those are the biggest deals. Chest piece here, we're using Flesh Crafter. That is the big reason as well why I'm running this on Guardian and not on Necromancer. Because with Flesh Crafter here, while minions have energy shield, their hits ignore monster elemental resistances is the big deal. That is the big key. So having that set up, and then minions are leeching 5% of elemental damage as energy shield is all exactly what you're looking for. It helps boost their survivability by a good deal and make sure that they're pretty much always able to keep their energy shield on, so that they're always ignoring elemental resistances, which is awesome. So Felborn Fleshcrafter, also a very cheap item this league, and is very strong for this particular setup. And so then we have in here our Summon Skellies of Mages. Now, obviously, if you're able to get lucky, like I wasn't, in a Vol Temple, you could actually double corrupt this into a 2120 Vol, and that would be even better for Summon Skellies of Mages. We have Spell Echo. If you're rich, get yourself a greater Spell Echo, so that's just 3. Then you'll just have, they'll be casting 3 times, so it'll be even more damage. Pierce support here, it's good, it has clear, it's just solid overall for these guys. Fresh Meat, we're summoning them pretty often, even if they have a decent, and then they have a decent duration, so actually they're kind of getting a good amount of time off of Fresh Meat anyway. Like, Fresh Meat's an interesting one where you want your minions to be something that lives for quite a while, but also still gets resummoned, so Fresh Meat here is a good little bonus for us. Minion damage support, as always, and then volley support, which, like I said, during volley, you could, or during bosses, you could also swap in for something like a increased critical damage support, faster casting if you want them to cast faster. They really don't need to. You could give them power charge on crit so that they're generating power charges for themselves. Realistically, any number of just additional damage things for those guys will be a good bonus. What I will talk about it, because while I'm looking at it, what I will very quickly talk about is the alternate version of this build where you don't run Foulborn Fleshcrafter, where you don't run Fleshcrafter if you're not feeling it. And what you could do instead is you could just run a rare chest piece and just make yourself a bit tankier that way. And you keep everything the same, but you would swap out something for Invert the Rules. Maybe you would just swap it out for Volley whenever you're in a boss, and you would actually just swap out probably just that, or I mean, yeah, probably just that. That, or you just drop Fresh Meat full time and just have the minions run Invert the Rules. But you drop this, you'd run Invert the Rules, and you would just have them focus on flipping monster resistances. So actually you wouldn't even you still just be running Sniper Mark. You wouldn't even be running Elemental Weakness or anything. That would be their primary focus. And the other thing is that then you could have your Animate Guardian run Eye of Malice here, just so that nearby enemies that he's close to are then have 50% increased fire and cold resistances for them to then flip with Invert the Rules. So that is a world that you could have going for you. That's kind of just another version I thought of if you wanted to instead be at least a little bit tankier just off rip and don't have to worry about the Foulborn Fleshcrafter not being the absolute strongest item for us, the character. But that's sort of it. That's realistically the only different variation that I thought of with this character, and it's not even all that different. But again, that's just if you really wanted to. And the other thing is, if you can get yourself a Corrupted Implicit here on this thing for +2 level of duration skills. I mean, if you double corrupted for plus duration skills and level of socketed gems, then obviously you'd be even more in business, but just a single corrupt with that on it would also be quite the hit there. That is our setup with Fleshcrafter, though. Darkness Enthroned here, of course. Actually, surprisingly, a 98%er is very cheap. I was kind of surprised to see that, but very cheap. And then just run whatever you need here. Get yourself some stats, get yourself resistances, and then just a bunch of added minion damage. You get yourself some life, whatever else in here. So all these things are good. Fairly standard Darkness Enthroned things. And then Leviathan Grip here, which I just have with... We have Desecrate, Flame Wall, Determination, Tempest Shield in here, so that we're getting some more block going. But otherwise, the implicits here, you can get minions deal increased damage, and then the other one, I'm pretty sure doesn't matter at all, so I just have Projectiles Pierce 2. I actually don't know if that would count for your minions. I actually don't know if this is global or if this is just local to you, but regardless, do that. And then I just crafted this with... That's kind of like, it's not a very necessary thing by any means, but you can craft Essence of Fear onto gloves as well. That also gives them a little bit more increased damage. So I just slammed some increased damage on it until it hit something pretty good. So got some life, it got some armor on it. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. And then boots over here, which are just armor, evasion, or armor, energy shield, spirit offering, life regen boots. You could also get brittle ground if you want to be the one moving around and dropping brittle ground for your allies. You could. Oh, actually, that's something that we could do for Animate Guardian. Instead of Calm's roofs, you could put on the boots from from Maven that leave scorched ground or like scorch nearby enemies. Yeah, you can do that. Do that. You should do that. Legacy of Fury. That's the name. Put Legacy of Fury on, and then Crusader. But I just have Crusader boots on. But like I said, you could put Brittle Ground on. Otherwise, Spirit Offering and increase life regen, whatever else you want to run there, I think is totally fine. Get yourself some resistances, move speed, life, and then armor and energy shield. This could be a much higher base level as well, base armor tier. I've just been too lazy to reroll this. And then in here we have more duration with automation, molten shell. If you want this to be a cast when damage taken support instead, you could certainly do that, but this is just what I'm rocking here. And then convocation down here. Also, if you're wondering where I am casting any of these Vol skills, they're all on my alternate bar, so control. That's where I have Vol Haste, Vol Summon Skellies, and Vol Molten Shell. So, and then that's also where I have my Spirit Offering too. That's set up on my mouse button. So that is both the gems and gear. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't necessarily think there is. Yeah, I don't think there really is. Like I was saying, you know, there's still a lot to improve on this character to make him go even further beyond. You know, the wand, the shield, the rings are like okay. But you could get more levels out of this. You could get a 2120 here. You could get the improved Animate Guardian. I will have a lot of these things in the POB for this build set in a way where it's like perfect world, where I assume that you are rich and that you have received all of those things, but just know that I personally have not. I am just kind of I will be putting them in there as is, but I'm not going to change literally everything. I'm just going to throw in some stuff. Like I'll just add in, like, I'll make this a 2120. I'm not even going to double corrupt this. I'm going to change the Animate Guardian's gear to be more proper, and I'll do maybe just like one or two other just like adjustments. And actually, no, because the other adjustments that I planned for, I've since made, which was get Bastion of Hope and anoint the block node here too. Those are the other big deals. So with that, I think that's all I got with this character. I've had a ton of fun playing this character. I've had a ton of fun this league in general. This has actually been a very good league overall. I just unfortunately at the same time have been I've made a bunch of characters, but they have all felt a little bit lackluster, where like they do what they need to do, but they aren't doing it the most effective. So this character has certainly been the best of new characters I've made. I have one other character I'm making right now. Hopefully that character ends up being good and I'll make a video on that one as well. But for the time being, this is all that I've got. So YouTube, I hope you enjoyed. If you're still playing, if you're enjoying yourself, I hope you are having a lovely time out there in the realm of Path of Exile. It's still been such a fun time. I love this game. And yeah, until I see you next time, stay sane out there, Exiles.